pluralistic system. It's not just Ahmadinejad. There are a lot of other people there who would like to be president. So perhaps one could condition the environment in such a way that you would get somebody who's more interested in talking to the United States, at least in 2009. And then we'll have a new president here as well.
There was a question back there. Excuse me, please wait.
My name is Azita Mashayekhi. I'm Iranian American. I'm a member of NIAC, National Iranian American Council. My question is, it's actually it arose out of what Trita just said about Iran not acknowledging U.S. as a sole superpower. And I think that I have a problem with that because I think, the world has changed and the U.S. is really not the sole superpower, especially in that region. I mean, there is China, there's Russia. The U.S. has been out of the picture for a long time, and, Iran has extensive economic ties with China. Russia has its own interests, and the United States, has to negotiate. I mean, it's just period. It has to negotiate. It's just not the kind of world where the U.S. can just, use its military. Aside from the cost of military intervention, which we cannot afford as a country, I mean, it's just people just don't want to talk about these, pragmatic issues. But I mean, I think that that issue of China, Russia, Israel, regional powers and regional interests, and the United States having to kind of acknowledge those, and otherwise nothing is going to happen. So I'm just wondering how you view that, how U.S. how's that going to work on this Iran situation?
Currently, the United States is meeting with Iran in Baghdad at the ambassadorial level, but it's sort of dueling talking points, sort of shout across the table at each other. But I think that there's now, in the last couple of weeks, there have been some positive developments. The United States released some of the Iranians that was holding evidently the IED attacks on Americans in Iraq are down, and there would be a basis for elevating the talks and getting to some of the issues we've discussed tonight, which would be the United States recognizing Iran's legitimate interests in the region and acknowledging those. That formulation has been viewed as sort of a passive way of saying that the United States is sort of shifting from a focus on regime change to changing policy. And then to try to elevate the discussion, focusing on issues like Iraq, where there is some degree of overlapping interests. Both the United States and Iran would like a coherent Iraq to emerge from whatever unfolds. They don't want it to break up into three states. Iran might want a weak Iran. Iran might want a weak Iraq, and we want a strong, self-sufficient Iraq. But there's a basis for some common interests. And unfortunately, though, the leverage that we had several years ago was lost. We'll be going into it in a weakened position. The basis for dialogue is there. But I've argued, my grip on this, the starting point is the clarification of this contradiction. And then I think that would have some significant effect in the debate in Tehran, where right now the radicals can play the nationalist card and say the United States is threatening Iran, and that sort of reduces the political space in Tehran for those who want to pragmatically engage the United States.
Question here.
My name is Howard Moreland. There's a lot of talk about the possibility someday in the future of Iran having nuclear weapons. But right now, the only nuclear weapons in the Middle East are American nuclear weapons in southeast Turkey and the Israeli nuclear weapons in Israel. What role do those weapons play in the present situation?
Certainly, I don't think that the nuclear weapons in Israel are contributing to a more peaceful Middle East. But at the same time, in my interviews with Iranian officials, I never got the sense that it was Israel's nuclear program that was a driving force of Iran's nuclear program. Now, they would never admit that they would have a weapons program, but regardless. And when you take a look at how Iran has been assessing threats since the early 1990s, there was still a lot of focus on Iraq as long as Saddam was still there, even though they felt that he was in the box. But more than anything else, the Iranians have been preparing for a potential showdown with the United States. The United States is the lightest threat on the Iranian radar, and it has been so for quite some time. And it's a very critical point, because when we're talking about nuclear non-proliferation, what we're seldomly discussing is what are the driving forces of this? Where is the demand side of non-proliferation? What is it that causes a country that want to go for that type of capability? And if you can understand that, can you affect it? In this specific case, Iran would not really have any use for a nuclear weapon, except in the case of deterring the United States, because it's the only country that it lacks an efficient deterrence against. So if we can change the relationship between the United States and Iran, we would also be able to efficiently affect the demand that they may have for a deterrence. And through that, be able to affect the nuclear program there probably much, much more successfully than we have been doing in the last couple of years by just resorting to name-calling and preconditions.
I think Israel is an all-purpose bogeyman for Iran. I mean, sort of put up something casting when an Israeli friend of mine said, look, Iran can say yes to Israel or it can have a nuclear weapon, but it can't have a nuclear weapon and say yes to Israel. So, to their credit, the Israelis are not part of the non-proliferation treaty. They said, we don't want to be in that deal. They never declared they nuclear weapons, is why they believe, but at least they've not signed the NPT. Iran has signed the NPT, the full Monty. They've said that they would not acquire nuclear weapons. Now they're pursuing under Article 4 of the NPT its right for a full fuel cycle. Our lawyers in 1968 did not cut the best deal possible to allow Iran to assert that under Article 4 it has access to the full nuclear fuel cycle, including enriching uranium for nuclear reactors that not only don't exist or aren't even on the drawing board, but that's become kind of the crux issue right now. The thing about the Iranian nuclear program, unlike North Korea, Israel, Pakistan, is it's not an existential program. It's not a program that's a crash program to a nuclear weapon as quickly as possible because they believe they face some type of existential external threat. Iran's program is more like India's program. It's determined, it's incremental, it has more to do with a sense of prestige in the region and that it should be allowed to have nuclear weapons, even though Iran has not made a definitive, irreversible decision to acquire nuclear weapons. That's sort of the belief there. And my bottom line, again, sort of utilitarian foreign policy that I've been talking about this evening, is that the United States, as an objective, should minimally be able to take itself off the table while other countries think they need nuclear weapons.
There was a question here. Yes. I think this will be, I hate to this to go on, but I'm afraid I'm getting the signals that this will have, I think, have to be our last question.
Okay, hi, I'm Blake Council. I've talked to a few before tonight. My question is about a news story today. There's a Reuters story today about Olmert asking for some planning within the Israeli government, what it would be like to accept a nuclear Iran. So I wanted to get your reaction to that story, because we haven't talked about the Israeli angle, which is, can Israel send its F-15s to Iran, even if there's no U.S. action?
Two sides of that. First, let me take your latter question. Can Israel do it? Most military people point out that Israel actually can't do it. They can attack, but they can't attack successfully because the distance is too far, they need to do too many refuelings, and they don't know where all the different programs are. And even if they were to hit all the facilities, they still wouldn't be able to take out the nuclear scientists. Iran would still hold the knowledge. Now, there's some speculation that Israel may do it to force the United States to finish the job by creating a mess, and then the U.S. would basically be sucked into that problem. But I think also that is somewhat unlikely for several factors, and one of those being is that Israel's deterrence is to a very large extent based on the ambiguity of the outside world not knowing what it actually can and cannot do. It would be costly for Israel to try it, ultimately fail, and let the rest of the world know what Israel can do and what it cannot do. So there's, and there is rationale, a tremendous amount of it in Israel. So, on the other question, that there is now a leak